Chuck is a special person because he's so humble. You do not realize how he's creating so much good for the world.
I don't know, I think Chuck has sort of, it feels like the golden touch a lot of times.
He's the epitome of an entrepreneur, you know. I mean, he's built successful companies, he's invested in successful companies.
Founder and first CEO of OpenTable, went public, you know, first chairman of Grubhub. I think his companies have created over $15 billion of equity value in the marketplace.
Chuck never brags about himself, but when you think of someone who started off with very little in life.
Getting to Cal Poly, you know, no one in my family had gone to college before, and so it was intimidating or exciting, you know, place to be. My mom was a glassblower, my dad was a mailman, and so that's kind of how I, you know, sort of grew up, was in more of a, you know, blue collar. I went to the military out of high school because I wasn't quite ready for college yet.
Knowing that Chuck came from an Army Ranger background sometimes explains his desire to keep pushing himself harder and harder.
Yeah, you want to work with Chuck just because you know that he's gonna, and maybe that's his, you know, military experience, he's willing to sort of go through walls for you.
It was a great opportunity for me to grow and develop as an individual, to really think about responsibility in a different way.
When I first met Chuck, he was an entrepreneur through and through. It was building companies, profitable companies, getting investment and going forward. But when he came to Chicago, he had his children, the two girls. And all of a sudden, his view on the world changed completely.
And I think he looked at the world and human health, the planet, and said, you know, I don't like the direction things are going. And instead of, I mean, this is just Chuck, you know, he said, I want to do something about it. I don't want to just talk about it.
He really wanted to build a world that was going to be better for his children.
The world is at an interesting point in time. We're starting to realize that, you know, it's not an infinite system that we live in, that there is some finality to it, you know, as far as this ecosystem. I think there's a role for government, I think there's a role for nonprofit. I don't think either one of those two alone will be able to sort of solve the challenges that we have. I think it has to be business that does it. To me, outside of our first responders, I think entrepreneurship is you know, some of the heroes of who we are as a society. I think they're the ones who help us get to new levels.
You know, what Chuck is doing with S2G is really fascinating because he's looking at the complete food system. And I think that's different.
Our mission is really to make the U.S. food system more sustainable and more healthy. And we invest across the value chain, so from ag tech startups to consumer brands. You
know, it's having an impact and delivering a financial return that is so exciting, and then you get to work with great entrepreneurs.
To me, learn by doing is the foundation of being an entrepreneur, right? You have to go out there, you have to understand what the market wants. You can take guesses, but you have to then go validate or sort of blow up those guesses. Cal Poly gave me a great foundation to be able to really think about a lot of the business concepts that I encounter still to this day, and I think Cal Poly helped me believe that I could succeed.
The thing about Chuck that really resonates with students is where he spends his time. You know, his focus on the environment and food systems. Those are the things that students care about, and those are the businesses they want to build.
There's so many people who will talk about climate change and the things we have to do to improve the environment. He does it. In that way, he's a role model for so many of us.
Chuck really inspires our business and entrepreneurship students to go out there and solve big problems, but what he really does is give them the self-confidence to know that they can go out and change the world in some way.